Good morning. Welcome back to the JagCorner. I'm Will Thorup. I'm your host, and today we're going to be doing some more programming. Though we could probably watch this cool Mystic screensaver all day running on the Jag. Hey Matt, how you doing? Still on holiday. Wi-Fi still rubbish. Well, that means you're having a good holiday, right? If the Wi-Fi is non-existent, you're in a place where you can't be distracted by digital nonsense. um, at least that's what I enjoy when I'm on vacation. So I usually have a nice modded Game Boy or an Atari Lynx, and so that's the only thing I'll bring if I'm on vacation, and just play some games that aren't connected to the internet. It's always good. But anyways, great to see you. Welcome back. Yeah, we're going to be kind of picking up where we left off yesterday. There were a few things I did after the stream. I honestly don't remember what I did. I know I was trying to figure out why it was, once it looped and did the intro card again, it would go blank. And I'm not sure why it was doing that, and I'm still not sure. So we may spend a little time on that today. I'm not too worried about it. To tell the truth, and so we may move on to the scroller. I'm actually interested in learning how. I actually didn't put the scroller together in that demo. My brother Bryce did, and I did learn it how he did it a few years ago, and so I'm gonna have to relearn it again though because it's been so long. So we're gonna spend some time there, and we may get to swapping out, and I may have already done this. I need to go take a look again. But swapping out, mathematically calculating that bounce for those graphics, and replacing that with just a lookup table. So it runs silky smooth. It already runs really smooth, but I just wanted to swap that out because it's optimized, and I don't know if it probably won't make my program any smaller. It might. We'll see. Not sure. I just figured it was something that we could do. It should optimize things a little bit, for sure. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else to preview here before we program. We'll probably run into a few other things that we'll want to do with the program, but before we do that, though, there is some news-related things. I want to take a look at. But before we jump into news, or the one news item that we have, don't forget that we have a website, like everybody else, right? But I like to point people to the newsletter, which is just an opportunity to get some exclusive content, behind the scenes content. Yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about it today. But yeah, that's there if you're looking for that. It's not a very common newsletter. I've been trying to do once a month. We'll see if I can keep up on that. I've been doing pretty good so far, so I'm running a little bit late on this month, but yeah, I'll definitely get to sending out a new newsletter soon. First piece of news, and probably our only piece actually. So it's the only thing I noticed in my inbox yesterday was 42 BS Bastian Chic. I think that's how you say his last name. It might be Bastian Schick, could be that too. But he's been working on this this demo, which has been ported to a ton of platforms. In fact, I kind of want to, let's jump over to Poet. I'm interested to see if it's actually tied into the other ports of this demo, if there's a way to quickly look that up. So if we come here and go to Atari Jaguar, yeah, Jag NICCC 2000. He's been working on a ton of little demos for the Jag recently. Where Original demo by Polydata. So it is tied in right there. Related remix of the STNICCC 2000 demo. So there's the original demo. Ah, here we go. Oh darn it! It doesn't show the platforms. We can kind of get a sense. Game Boy Advance, GP32, 3DO, SVG. I'm not sure what that is. Mega Drive, PSP, all sorts of platforms. And it's a full polygon demo. Polygonal demo, and it's all flat shaded. But it's been ported to so many things because people have been using it as a benchmark. I don't know how fair the benchmark is between systems, but it gives us some idea how fast one system, one platform is against another. And so he just released a new version yesterday or today. That's what I was looking at here. Let's see here. Yeah, right here. So this was 2 hours ago. So, well, he was over in Germany. So, well, it would have been today. So, yeah. So just a few hours ago, and I wanted to take a look at that. I think it'd be fun to take a look at that. So let's do this. Let's go over to coding and see if I can get this up and running. Give me just a second. 2022. There we go. Let's see if it'll run. I was running on. No, I guess I could just. Let's run it on real hardware. What am I doing? What am I doing? I got a Jag right here. We can just run it there. JCP-reset. Come on, reset. I don't know why my USB is so slow. I'm running the skunk board through my monitor USB, and it's just so slow. My tower's on the other side of my desk over here. My Jag's over here, and so it's hard to run a USB cable. I should probably consolidate that a little bit. I definitely can. I don't know. It just feels like things would be unbalanced if I move my tower over to that side of the desk. I don't know. Anyways, okay. Let's send this over. Yeah. And I believe there is music. Why didn't that? Oh, we need to flash it. Let's flash it. Oh, doesn't he have? Oh, he doesn't have a COF version yet available, I don't think. Unless we pulled the source down. That's okay. We can flash it. I need to come make sure I have my audio levels. So I'm going to turn the audio up a little bit. And I remember the first version of this demo, it was running so slow. Which was really sad too, but I think it was running only on the Motorola 68000 or just wasn't optimized in some way. I don't know exactly why it was running slow, but now it is, at least the last version I saw, it was running stupid fast. It's going really fast. And oh cool. He's adjusted the speed a little bit. It still feels like it's going a bit too fast, but maybe that's the idea, is that it pushes as hard as possible. Seems like it's running a little bit smoother than it was. Anyways, really cool little demo. I don't know why he's duplicating it, 4 more times. Buffering, and I think that's it. 13 milliseconds, and I honestly don't understand the frames. He does talk about that a little bit over here. Let me turn the music down just a bit. He talks about it over here on the website, if I remember right. I get 5200 polys or 86 polys a frame, so you just divide 5200 by 60 or 50 depending on your console. I see no glitches, but might get blind meanwhile. I don't know what that means, but yeah, but it's running solid. The demo's running really solid, really fast. He claims that it's faster than the 3DO. I don't know that for sure, but he's the guy putting the demo together, so I'm inclined to trust him on that remark. 2 of crowd will be added, but not count much. This might be the last update in a while with this last statement here that he might be giving it a break. But it's interesting. It'd be cool if he added some go around shading to see how that impacts the frame rate. So, anyways. I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else I want to cover here this morning. There's a lot of demos for the Jag. We have 3 pages worth of demos, and there's what is that, 20 on here on the page, and so 60 demos. There's some really cool ones. There's one done by Reboot. There's the Bad Apple demo, which came out a few years ago, which is awesome. There was one before that, though. Really cool demo. And I believe it was Reboot. Not that. It might be Wiggle. Gosh, I want to think it's this J. This J underscore is another cool one. It's doing some. What I know is metaballs. They're so in Blender, which is an open source 3D program, you take these shapes, these spheres, and if you put them close together, they stick together almost like water. And he's doing that on the fly on the Jag, which is really cool. Yeah, this Wiggle demo, I think, is the one has this cool. It's doing this raster effect with this 3D cube where it's bending and twisting it. Really cool looking. Anyways. Yeah, lots of cool demos to check out. All free to download. You can find them all here at poet.net. A lot of work's been done over the years on the Jag. Very impressive coding work. But all right, let's get to coding. I don't even think I have the project open yet. Let me go check. I don't have it open yet. So give me just a second. Get that open. Nope. Where are we? There we go. And open it up. There we go. Got it. Okay. So, I did spend, what I spent some time on after the stream yesterday was I was trying to see if I could optimize the code. Here, one sec. I need to make sure that music, actually I think we can turn the music off. Yeah, there we go. You guys can enjoy watching that demo again. It just repeats if you press a button, I believe. What did I change here? I was just going to clear this out. What I was working on yesterday was seeing if I could optimize how I was doing the scrolling to speed things up a bit. That ribbon in the background is still causing issues for me. And honestly, I don't know if there's anything I can do to really speed that up at this point. So we may have to drop the ribbon, which I'm a little disappointed in. I kind of like that extra layer of parallax, but we can do without it too, but I'm not going to make the decision to get rid of that just yet. I want to move on to some other things before we do that. So what we're going to move on to today is the scroller. So that is in our second state, I believe. So right here, the main scroller. And we're just setting the palette for that. Console scratches, these are just the sprites, so the Jaguar comes down, these scratches appear underneath it as if it's like a big paw scratching the screen kind of thing, a Jaguar paw. Grid frame, these are just things on the edges, the gray grid, bot grid, yeah, bottom of the screen grid pieces, static lines, these are these lines above and below the scroller, font stuff. So it looks like we have a scroll structure with a sprite member called MoveBox. We're tracking the count, and we're tracking whether it's done or not. And there's the Y position. So that's it for that. So we're init scroll. So we have a function that just knits the scroller for us, and so that's probably where we're going to go take a look. And I'm just going to scroll through this here really quick to see if there's anything else that we should take a look at here. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, I just don't have things tabulated. I wonder if I screwed up the tabs when I ran. So I ran my editor here will actually remove tabs and replace them with spaces. And I ran that, I believe, when we first started. And I'm wondering if it screwed up some of these, the tabbing on some of my code here. It seems to be kind of random, but anyways. Console scratches, run our static lines, randomizer. Oh, the static lines. Those are those little red lines in the background with the static. So let's see here. We have our bricks flying. We're not going to be touching any of that. That's all working fine. Actually, we will because we're detaching those as they loop around. And we don't want to do that. Yeah, all my tabs are just messed up here. How did that happen? We got line breaks everywhere here, which really don't need. Maybe we'll be spending most of the stream just getting rid of line breaks and tabbing things over. No, we'll do some more interesting things. Okay, bricks, flying bricks. Yeah, so we're definitely going to want to swap these out. So they're just always attached until we leave the state. And that's when we'll detach them, is when we leave the state, rather than this silly attaching and detaching on the fly. We really don't need to do that. Nothing's really gained by doing it this way. In fact, I think we probably take a hit in terms of performance because it's a little bit to attach and detach those, because sprites are part of a linked list, and so when you attach and detach, it's adjusting that list. And yes, it's just changing a few pointers to do that, but it really is unnecessary for what we're doing. Okay. Ugh. Really don't want to clean all that up right now. Okay, so let's go find our init scroll, and I think I have a source file for that. Yep, BJ scroll right here. And I just realized that I couldn't see my chat. Let me fix that. There we go. Okay. So we have a struct here called scroll of type scroll. And then we have a new scroll and then an init scroll, which is interesting. That those are separated out. I would actually probably just combine those if I were doing it today. Get rid of these line breaks, don't need them. There we go. So we have a screen. This is called our draw box. Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah, two screens, our draw box and our copy box. My guess is one of them is for the font, and then the other is the actual data buffer that the sprite looks at, and so what we actually see on screen. So we're copying from the text, and I may be wrong about this, but that's what I'm assuming right now. Is we copy from our font sheet, essentially. We copy from that to the draw box. I assume that's what it is, which creates our message, and then our sprite actually displays that message. Our font, that's just a that's part of our text library. It's just a font structure that stores. Well, that's interesting actually, because this is where we usually copy our. This is where our font sheet usually is stored. So I am wrong about something here with the with the scroll structure. So we'll go take a look and see what's happening there. So we have a rate, which is probably our speed, the actual message, which is just a pointer to some text, the length, which letter we're on, which character we're on as we're drawing things, character width, character offset, loop count, and loop done. All pretty straightforward there. So let's go take a look at the actual code rather than just the declarations. I went somewhere. There we go. Okay, so we've already built a font somewhere at some point. My guess is it's at the top of the BitJag Demo source code somewhere. We're mallocking things. We're setting our text. We're just pointing to that. Our length. These are all passed through. Excuse me. Screen drawbox. This is interesting. Why am I doing this? Why not just this is actually a problem, I think. Let's see here. Why can't I just, because this is of type screen, I should be able to just use this. Here, let's see if this works. I really don't think we need this, to tell you the truth. So what I'm doing here in this is an initialization function, technically, is I'm creating another screen inside of this function, which when I leave the function, it actually gets destroyed. That's why I'm a little concerned about doing this way. Oh, we are allocating, so it's fine, but we really don't need to do this. We can, because we already have a screen inside of our structure that we could run these two commands. So here, this is what we're going to do. I'm just going to comment that out. Drawbox equals. Yeah, this is weird that I'm doing it this way. Pretty sure. Maybe we'll find out that or sorry, I'm not the one that did this. Bryce did it this way, and so I'm wondering if there's something that he knows that I do not. 7 years ago, 8 years ago. Okay, so we have our drawbox, and then we just do these same commands, but instead of drawbox, it's just s drawbox. So it's the screen inside of our structure. I don't know why we were doing it externally. We already had a member that we could utilize there. So, yeah, it's really kind of weird. Clear screen s drawbox. Like, that shouldn't be a problem. Whoops. There we go. We can test this out by quickly jumping to... there's actually something I need to change here because I was debugging things. Is demo position goes to 1, I believe. Let's double check that. Yeah, case 1 goes to 1, and I think we can actually change where our demo position starts. We can start at, we change it down here probably. Demo position 1. Yeah. So let's actually push that out to hardware. So make reset, clear, make clean, make sleep for a few seconds, and then make skunk. Let's see what that looks like. Something's broken. Dropbox undeclared. Okay, so there's something I missed, obviously, by changing that code. Oh, it's because we use that Dropbox in other places in the code. That's why. We just gotta find, oh, just one more instance right there. Sprite of screen. Yeah. Okay. There we go. And I'm gonna go check here really quick. Dropbox undeclared. That's weird. Why isn't it crashing? Why isn't it? Error. Dropbox undeclared. First use in this function. 6340, which is right here, but it isn't Dropbox. Do we need to run a make clean? And a make? Oh, whoops. I was looking at old output. Make clean, make. There we go. Warning, array subscript has type character. These are some warnings that we'll probably clear up here as well. Those hopefully won't be too hard to fix. Okay, we should be fine now. Let's push it out to hardware. Sorry, I know you couldn't see that. I forgot to switch over to coding again. One day I'll get the habit. Okay. Look at that. Still works. So we should be fine doing that. We need to do it in another place as well. So let me wipe these out. So right here, the copy box, I'm doing the same thing when I don't need to be doing that. In fact, we should be able to just, it looks like everything's the same on the height and the width. So I should be able to just copy this, replace all this and swap it out for all this. Swap it out for copy box. Copy box, like that. I should be able to do that. Let's try that again. Try it again. Do it again. And it looks like it's working. I'm not sure what that copy box is for yet, but yeah, this just ensures that we don't destroy anything that we created inside this function, because if you don't pass it out appropriately with this return.s, this s is just this scroll structure, you risk writing over. So you're assigning a block of data to a member in the structure, and then when you leave, if you don't pass it out correctly out of the function, when you leave, that memory may not be protected anymore. And so if you allocate data elsewhere in the program, it could accidentally write over that and cause a crash. The reason why I think it wasn't causing a crash is once everything's built for this state in the program, nothing else is happening. And all that stuff is cleared out before we move into the next state of the program. So that's probably why we weren't experiencing a crash, but we were lucky that we weren't experiencing one. So sprite of screen, so we just turn the draw box into the move box, which is our sprite. So drawbox is what we're actually seeing on screen. So our copy box, yeah, we'll find out what he's doing here. Init Scroll. So he goes in here, clears things out. It looks like this is just resetting everything. Sets the in the font structure. It sets the kerning or the width. Let's see here. S font character widths takes the first width plus the kerning. Okay, And then the offsets just finds the first one. Interesting. Oh, this is probably updating every time we draw a character. That's what this character width and offset for the specific character that we're currently drawing. That's probably what's going on there. I'm gonna break this down. Oh, sorry, we're not on coding. Yeah, so I was just taking a look at this Init Scroll function, and it's a reset function. That's what it is. It's resetting all the data members inside this structure when we come back to this state after it loops. Okay, update scroll. Character width minus. I wonder why we do that. Drawbox X. So that's just setting where we're copying from. And then we do a copy straight. So our destination from our source. And we're just copying the whole thing over. It looks like. That's a big copy. 383, we're copying the whole thing over. Are we doing that every frame? Probably are, aren't we? Let's go check. Let's find that update scroll. Update scroll. Oh, whoops. Don't think I spelled it right. Oh, yeah, no underscore. It's all together. Scroll. Yep, we are updating that every frame. Is there a second place for using it? Looks like that's the only place. So yeah. Interesting. It blows my mind that it's able to actually scroll that fast. FB2D copy straight. Yeah, we're copying to the draw box from the copy box. That's right. Oh, so what he's doing here is essentially a double buffer, I believe. Copy box. And then he sets the X again, or he sets it, yeah, he sets it again, he sets it to 0, and then he copies it from the, oh, I gotta look this up. I don't know which one's the source and which one's the destination. Let's see here. Open. Jaguar and lib include FB2D. FB2D copy straight. Where are you? Oh, I think he moved that over into the screen header. Because it doesn't require FB2D to be initialized to actually run. Where are you? Screen. Screen, there you are. Copy straight. There it is. Screen copy straight, which is the same. It's the same command. So it's source and destination. So let's go back over here. So the source is the drawbox. So we're copying 1 pixel offset from the drawbox over to the copy box, which is at 0, 0, I assume, because they init at 0, 0. So that, I think this is how he's doing the scrolling. And then he copies back. Oh yeah, that's how he's doing the scrolling, is he's just cutting it down essentially. Interesting. I'm pretty sure this is how he's actually scrolling. Character width. Why does he do that? If character... Oh, okay, so if character width is less than 0, this is how he's tracking. So he's chopping off. So he takes the first character that shows up, and once it's chopped off, that's when he draws the next character. I think that's how he's tracking it. he's tracking once we've moved an entire character to then copy a new character, I think. Let's take a look. So IDX, this is just him selecting the right character. Drawbox X equals 380 minus W. Where's this W? Font character widths IDX. Yeah, so once we get to the next character, we figure out its width, and then we set a new X position to draw to on our drawbox buffer, minus the width. So we want to make sure, because we don't want to draw outside the buffer, we want to draw inside of it, and so we minus the width, and so that puts us a little bit in, exactly the width of the character in, actually. And then we copy the character into our drawbox. We set the X back to 1, and we advance which character we're on for the next time we need to do this. Then this is just a check for if we've looped or not. So if we've hit the last character in the scroller, we say, oh, we've looped, and so now we can stop. I assume that's why we're tracking that. Loop count is greater than 0, doesn't equal -1, or it equals -1. This could be rewritten. There's better ways of doing this. Okay, loop count, character width 384. Why do we do that? This is interesting. If loop count is equal to 0, so we've set the loop count to 0 again, our character width is set to 384. That doesn't make any sense to me. Not sure why he's doing that. Else, okay, so this was if we've oh, this is interesting, actually, that we're doing it this way. Let's see here. So otherwise, so we haven't reached the end of our character width. Oh, okay. That's what's going on. So this is tracking the width of our sprite, and it's cutting that down. If it equals 0, why is it? Let's see here, 384. Else. This is being set every frame and probably doesn't need to be. This is just setting some members inside of our structure every frame for some reason. I'm not sure why that's every frame, because the character we're drawing doesn't need to be drawn every frame. And so we are tracking, this is the width of our entire scroller, and it doesn't run this until this hits 0, which is 384 frames. Let's see here. Yeah, that's basically, that is the whole width of the scroller. Yeah. Oh, sorry, not 384 frames. That's 384 pixels. And so once it scrolls 384 pixels, which is about, it's about 7 seconds, 5 to 7 seconds, somewhere around there. It runs this code and then resets that. And it's just copying a character. That's what this section does. Why is that broken? That's weird. There we go. Character width is in loop count does not equal 0. Character width is less than 0 and loop count does not equal. Well, what is loop count set to? Oh, it's initialized to -1. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. If loop count is greater than 0, minus, I don't think we're worried about that. Maybe this was tracking, I could have it loop through the message multiple times. I think that might be happening here. If it's greater than 0 or -1, this is actually bad. Yeah, this doesn't work very well. Yeah. Actually, this code is actually it's really short. It's very brief, or abbreviated. I was actually expecting the scroll to be a little more complicated than this. What's interesting about this is he is copying that every frame, the whole width. It's amazing it can do it that quickly. I wonder, yeah, it's not even, I don't even think it's slowing down the music or anything either. It is nuts. To copy, what is that, 380 pixels times, what, 32? That's a lot of pixels. It's copying over. It's doing a really good job with that. I have never seen a copy command work that well. Yeah, an FB2D copy command in this library. That's why I'm a little surprised that it's working as well as it is. I'm just wondering if I'm missing something here. I just don't think I am, though. Yeah, so all he's doing is he has 2 identical buffers, and to scroll it to the left, he copies one, just offset a pixel over to our copy buffer, and then copies that back and puts it at, instead of the first pixel, at pixel 0, and that's what scrolls it to the left. It really is clever. I wouldn't have thought to do it that way. What I would have done, and actually the way I would have done it probably isn't very smart, is I would have just shifted where in the buffer, the data buffer we were looking at. I would just shift that, which in my head is a lot faster than what we're doing here, but I may not touch this because it seems to be working fine. One thing I'm a little concerned about is that we're checking for negative values on certain things. Let's see here. I'm just wondering, why does it need to be negative? I don't think it needs to be negative. We can just set this to equal 0, and that should still work. Let's check it out. Yeah, if it's drawing everything correctly, which it looks like it's doing, I think we're fine. Yeah. So that's definitely a little bit fixed. That doesn't really... that's technically faster because we're just, instead of checking for less than or equal, then I believe it's a little bit cheaper to do just an equals. Does not equal 0. This is interesting that I'm even doing it this way. Set text IDX to 0. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, this is a little strange. don't quite understand what's going on here. Because the reason why our loop count runs this, and it's -1, and so it's going to set the text ID to 0 every time we update the character, which seems like a bad idea to me, because we want to write the whole thing. So I don't understand why we're doing this. So if the loop count is greater than 0, and it's not, it's negative, or if it's equal to -1, which it is, so it is hitting this. Let's see here, text ID. Oh, whoops. So this only happens when we hit our max, the text length. So once we've drawn everything, then it runs this again, which is a little weird because right now it's not advancing the demo to the next state. You'd think it would loop, but I must have some sort of check that's keeping it from doing that somewhere, probably in the main program loop. Anyways, I don't think we need to do anything with this, to tell you the truth. This is actually a lot more what's the word I'm looking for? Clever, agile. The code is a lot cleaner than I was expecting it to be, which is a testament to my brother Bryce. He's way more talented than I am, and C code was really new to him as well when he wrote this, and I'm actually really impressed with it. So this is cool. I don't think we need to change anything here. Well, I'm just still really surprised at how quickly this is copying the whole buffer, that huge buffer, every frame, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down the music or anything when it's doing that. So that's cool. I almost want to spend some time just going through this and actually attempting my method to see if it would see if it would work, but I'm not gonna mess with this. This is very... Oh, hey Bryce. Glad you're watching. I got to stroke your ego there a little bit, but no, this is really cool. This is mind-blowing to me that this is running this fast. So because, and the reason why is I've tried to do tile maps where FB2D is copying the tiles every frame, and I am doing a lot more with that, but that runs really, really, really slow. And so seeing this and how much you're copying every frame, and I assume these are 8-bit. Let's pretty sure they are. Let's see here. Where is that? It would be, yeah, these are all 8-bit, and so you get, if they were 16-bit buffers, obviously it'd be a lot slower. But the fact, yeah, it's just a lot of data that's copying over, and it doesn't seem to be affecting the speed. Plus, we have an additional command here, which is about 32 by 32 pixels that are being copied over. Not quite that much, but it's close, that are being copied over. Like, it's pretty impressive. Works well. For whatever reason, it works well. Yeah, that's nuts. Anyways, okay, so the next thing I wanted to check was actually this bounce that we're seeing right now. So right now, that bounce, I believe, it's calculated every frame. So the movement's calculated every frame. What I wanted to try to do is actually convert that to a color lookup table. Or not a color lookup table, just a lookup table, an array that determines that motion. And I've done stuff like this before, but I don't remember exactly how I did it before. So I'm going to be relearning some things here if I haven't done it already, but I might be surprised with myself. I may have already changed this. Let's go ahead and go check that out. I'm actually going to update our state here to go to that state directly so we can see it a little bit quicker. Let me find. I'm probably looking, yeah, main scroller, looking at the wrong one. Here we go. Now for the shameless advertising and some awesome art. Pull in sprites. Set our palette again. Set up all of our sprites. Man, why did I do line breaks between everything? So hard to look at. Music credit. Let's find our bounce. Move me. So I have a function called move me. Let's figure out where that is. Looks like, well, that's scary. Why is it in here? The move me motion function. Okay. Okay, there it is. Why would I do that? I had all sorts of formatting, strange formatting ideas back then. Okay. Control, motion, move. So, oh, so it looks like, oh no. I was thinking, so at the end of the demo, we have Flappy McFur flapping. He bounces in, uses a very similar motion, and I was wondering if I was using just the same functions for that to bounce those those credits, the credits graphics. Anyways, let's take a look at this function, see what it actually does. Vert, bounce. There we go. Just knitting our motion. See, I'm a little worried I'm doubled up on this. Let's go. Not there. Bird motion. That's what I wanted to take a look at. Because this bird motion has basically, or nah, it's probably not the same. I'm not going to assume that yet. Yeah, it looks like it's quite a bit different. So we have a motion structure that just tracks some things for us. Our delay, duration, controller delay, controller lock. Oh, I wonder if this is, I moved over some stuff from my motion library back in 2018. Controller delay, move up and down. Wait a second. Delay, move begin, sprite. Huh. Looks like I can control this. Move up and down equals 0. Oh, it looks like I can change if I can, whether or not I can move with the controller. Controller, no, it doesn't seem like. I think I could do that if I wanted to. Fall down. So we're falling down. Bounce up. Okay. Fly up. Control. Yeah. Oh man, why are the tabs so bad here? Controller lock. Sorry, I'm just I'm rediscovering what I'm doing here. Move ball left or right. What does this have to do with anything? Oh, I think this is just simple movement right here. This isn't actually calculating the bounce. I don't think. Because, yeah, I don't see... Oh, yeah, look at that. I am doing a calculation here, I think. This doesn't... Yeah, this definitely isn't where things are happening. Delay... Move again... Plus sprite Y. Yeah, we're just adding that back. Yeah, this doesn't explain... Motion, move, control... The arc movement, so the ease out at the top of the arc and then the drop back down. Yeah, none of that's being calculated here. So, not sure what's going on in this function. This may just be moving the sprite, not actually determining how it moves. Let's see if we can find something else. Bounce the graphics. Floor bounces, ball motion delay, bounces. This is how I'm tracking how many times it bounces before it moves to the next sprite. Yeah, I did such a poor job formatting this. Ball graphics. Y. It's greater than 350. We set the Y to -10. So we're just, it looks like we're using the same sprite for each credit, and we're just pointing to a different point in our data to show the different sprite. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. Or not. It looks like I'm attaching and detaching sprites here. Yeah, so controller equals 0. This is very interesting. And there's all of our brick movement again. Transition. Yeah, this is even past Will was way more clever than future Will, apparently, because I have no idea how that movement's being calculated unless I'm already doing a lookup table. Oh, this has got me a bit concerned. Let's see here. Controller 1. So when we go into bounce, it's not worried about this. Control equals 1. Move delay equals move height. What is our height? Height is used to determine how high the ball rises after a bounce. Max is 35. Apparently not, because I put 36. Delay, controller delay is equal to 0, and move up and down. Okay. So that happens when, where are you? What was I looking at? Where's controller equals 1? There it is. It's greater than the floor and bounces. So this is how we bounce it up. So we set this to 1 and it bounces up. We somehow swap the vector. Yeah, I'm doing this in a very obtuse way, but it works. Like, visually it works. I almost want to rewrite this because of how profound it is. Let's see here, bounce up. Okay, I'm just interested in, so we set control equals 1. Sprite. That's just moving it left and right. Yeah, I'm not worried about any of this. This is just the bounce. I'm actually worried about affecting this now because there may be another... I don't know. Is this being used anywhere else? No, it's only being used in one place in the entire demo, so we can get rid of all this. We don't need this. We're not doing anything left and right. Clean this up just a little bit more. Okay. So I think this is what's giving me that nice ease in, ease out at the top. Is I am doing some math here, and I can't remember the math for calculating a good ease in or ease out, or a linear one anyways. That's probably what's going on here. But I assume that's what's going on right here. So what I'm thinking, gosh, I almost don't want to change this now. I'm running out of content for the stream pretty darn quick. So I was not expecting this. I was expecting this code to be a lot more messy. I should have reviewed this yesterday, because I think we might be pretty much done with this demo, except for the optimizations I want to do on the intro card. And I don't have a plan for that yet. Yeah, so if it's falling down, we're just calculating that movement here, and we move it. So this is move begin. So this is the previous frame. That's what this is. Is it? Let's see here. Move begin. No. This is not the previous frame. I don't understand why this is in parentheses. It is a miracle that I did anything back then. Don't need parentheses around any of this. Get rid of those. There we go. Those are gone. Yeah, there's nothing I want to change on that last card. It's fine. Oh, I see. I was setting this to negative. No, that's fine. Oh, so this is my vector right here. Is I set this one to negative so I can move it up and down. Plus sprite Y. Yeah, so I can technically just swap those and we'd be fine. Yeah, this is very interesting the way I'm doing this. Move delay. Does delay ever reset? So if we hit the floor, it looks like control equals 1. Controller lock sets to 1. When do we set that to 0? Or we set the control. Oh, we set the control to 0 at some point. No? No, we don't. This is just always running. Yeah, I don't even think I need this. I just need to make sure control is set to 1, which I'm probably already doing. Here, controller. Yeah, I'm setting it here. In fact, does it ever go to another value? Yeah, right there. If the sprite goes below the floor, you set it to 0. So when it gets set to 0, go back to here. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I understand this entirely before I decide to move on. 0, so it's set to 0, which means it's going to bounce up now. Move up and down. When does that get set to 1? It only gets set to 1 here. Let's make sure this still works, because I know I deleted those left and right things. Pretty sure we didn't need those, but let's double check. Double check. Yeah, it's working just fine. Okay. So we do set control to 0 at some point. But there's no check for that. So why am I even doing that? Right here, controller lock equals 0. That makes no sense either. Because control isn't set to 1 yet, so it won't run this. That is bizarre. What is going on here? I think I do have a little bit of a mess going on. Because I'm also setting it here. Why am I doing that? Controller. Is this how I'm making it? Oh wait, less than an equal or equal. So this is when it's still above the and bounces is less than is greater than equal than 4 and bounces. Let's see here. Bounces. Oh, it changes the floor. So this is how I make it drop down. So after it bounces 7 times, it will drop down beneath the screen. Pretty sure. Fall down. Looks like that's being set outside here somewhere. No, it's not. So when does that ever go to 0? Holy crap. This is nuts that I even did this. I even figured this out. Move up or down equals 0. There's no point where that's ever set to 0. Let's search the entire program for that because... Yep, it's never set to 0, so this never gets run, apparently. Let's test that. Just comment it out and run it. Which makes no sense to me, if that's the case. Because it has to run this code in order to fall down, right? Yeah. So, what is going on here? This never gets set to 0. Fall down. Let's just look for every instance of this. Revert bounce are 3 instances. That is it. Am I going crazy here? This never gets set to 0, so how is it ever falling down? Like in the entire program. There's this bird motion, but that's a different struct. And it's yeah, that's not being run at any point. It's all right here. Move up or down. So this is the only time it's ever being set, and it's being set to 1. So once it hits this if statement once, it's never 0 again, and it can never fall down. I am dumbfounded. What's going on here? There's something I'm obviously missing, but a search isn't bringing up. Oh, that's probably why. For bounce. This is probably what's going on. No, that's all in bird motion, so no. That makes no sense to me. Huh. Wow. I am really confused now. See, it's not going to be in any of these bird things because that's for Flappy at the end. We're not running any of that code in this part of the state machine. It's this function. This is the only function that's running right now to move those sprites up and down. The issue is this when it's flagged to move down, there's nothing actually setting that flag back to 0. Sorry about that. I want to see if it falls down here. It will fall down and it should stop. Yep, that makes sense. Because we commented out the code that actually makes it hop back up. And so it goes up, does our little arc. How does it... How does it actually... goes up and it greater than our floor. Greater than or equal. Yeah, that's fine. This is the new floor. Our bounces is 0. Controller equals 0. Is less than or equal. So we're setting the controller to 0. There. That's not move up and down. That is just this, and it says controller lock to 0 here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. This makes no sense to me. Bounce up. So it's set to 0. Sets our controller lock to 0. Which I'm just wondering if that's being set. Controller lock. Doesn't help that I used obtuse terminology for all these variables. Yeah, this is nuts. I almost want to rewrite it simply because I can't figure out what's going on here. This is insane. I mean, the way I would rewrite it would actually be fairly similar to how I'm doing it right now. Except I'd be using more traditional terminology. I'd be changing a vector for my bounce, rather than whatever else I'm using right now. I'm saying, what am I even doing? I'm doing 2 states here for moving up and moving down, which I wouldn't need to do. Move delay. That's positive or negative. That's interesting. There's a vector going on there as well. I just don't understand how this could possibly be running if at no point we're setting it to 0. Except for when we first initialize it, this motion in it. Are we running that again? Is that what's going on? No, because we're doing multiple bounces. So, yeah. Bounces floor delay. We're setting the delay to 0. Let's see here. All motion. The delay is being set to 0. Just seeing if anything else out here. Delay is set to 0. Yeah, we're only setting that twice here. We're setting it technically 3 times when we run it through the init, which happens further up here, I believe, at some point. Oh, you know what? It might be happening somewhere else in this long source file. So let's do a search here. There's our init, which is outside of our main loop, so I'm not worried about that. And then the next instance is down here, back where we're at. So nope, we're not setting that somewhere else. Well, that wouldn't explain the bounce still, even if it was being set somewhere else in the program. This is an enigma to me. How is that being set to 0? It is just bizarre. Set to 1 right there. That's just the header code. Nothing there. This is not showing B in there anyways. Up or down 1. Yep. Doesn't make sense to me. Huh. Up, down, equals 0. What is going on? I mean, this init is even in our main program loop, so it's not being set again here at all. Our delay is being set. Plus delay, sprite move again. Up, down. Yeah, that isn't being used to reset it anywhere. Oh, there's something I'm missing here. Creds. Delay equals 1, bounces plus equals 1, bounces equals 8. Set the floor to 200 so it falls. Oh no, if it's greater than 8 or greater than 0, set it to 200. This just resets the position of our. Gosh, what is going on here, man? Sets the floor, or sets the graphic back up, sets the bounces to 0. Credits plus 1, the delay is set to 0. Here, credits. And this just swaps out the graphics. It's less than equal to 4, set to 0. This is what this is what's making us fly up. Right? Fly up. No, it's not. Yeah, don't understand how that's working either. That's bizarre to me. It's less than 8. Set it. What I don't understand, let's see here, is that inside? No, it's outside of that if statement. Because I'm setting the controller here to 1 right here. if it's less than 8, but then I'm immediately setting it back to 0 down here. So the only time it doesn't get set back to 0 is when it's below the floor. So it's or greater than the floor value, which oh, let's see here. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. Control equals 1. Floor is set to 200. Well, that's weird. Excuse me. Yeah, so there's no way it's going down. Gosh. I can't believe I'm having this much trouble wrapping my head around this. Of course, I was a different person back then, I guess, in terms of how I thought about, especially code. Yeah, our stream's almost over, and I haven't even done anything. That's what it feels like, anyways. Space counter. Yeah, I'm not doing anything else with this bounce later on in the state. Yeah, I almost want to rewrite this just because of how frustrating it is to understand how I'm doing this. Shouldn't be this complicated. I'm just bouncing something. So if the Y position of our sprite is greater than or equal to the floor, and our bounces are less than 8, we set the controller to 1. And what that does in our bounce... Wait a second. Controller... Yeah, that's just control. That's the control parameter here. That's set to 1. So what does that set off? For this for sure, right here. In fact, I can get rid of this. We don't need this. It's always checking. Crap. Deleted the wrong thing. That, get rid of this. See, I kind of understand why it's this way. Is because I was just taking the Flappy McFur code that makes Flappy bounce when you press a button, and I converted it for this automatic movement. And so I still, that's why the terminology is all designed for a controller to be involved, even though it isn't for this specific use case. So that's one reason why the terminology is all weird. I guess I could go through and clean that up to try to wrap my head around it. Excuse me. Okay, so control is 1, so it sets this off. Controller lock sets it to... Well, it doesn't do that yet, because controller lock is 0 right now, so it actually hits this first. So that makes sense. Where is it? There it is. Okay, because it's less than 8 on the bounces, sets that to 1 and makes it fly up. So what this is doing is it's checking to see if it's gone below the floor, and that's what makes it bounce up. So let's put a comment. Bounce up. Cool. right? That's awesome. This makes no sense to me right here, because I assumed our floor is already at 200. We only change it oh, wait a second. No, it's not. It's 180. Well, that's weird. Floor. Well, here's the thing. This is what's got me confused with this controller thing that's going on. Is, let's see here. Wait a second. I think I might be figuring this out. It's less than or equal to floor. Sets it to 0. So is that why bounces equals 200? Why would a 20 pixel difference need to happen? So we shifted between pixel 200 and pixel 180. So 180 is where it's actually bouncing. Why would 20 pixels make the difference? Don't understand that. Okay, so we set controller to 1, but before we actually move anything, before we come back to this function, we have to go through an entire frame before we get to that. And the reason why that's important is we actually set controller back to 0 right here. And so when it comes back to this, controller is actually 0. So we go to vert bounce here. So control is 0. So it doesn't hit fly up. It doesn't hit control. It doesn't set the controller lock to 1, but it does set this controller lock to 0. And then we leave the function. So we've done nothing here except for bouncing up at some point. We've done nothing, right? See, and I don't understand how we ever fall down after the first drop, because once move up and down is set to 1, which happens once here, it never gets set to 0 again. There's nowhere in the program where it gets set to 0 that I can find. I have to find this. It has to be set to 0 somewhere in the program. So there's 4 instances here, and it's set once there, and then nowhere else. Nowhere else in the parts of the program that are applicable. This shouldn't be working. This is really frustrating. Bounce the graphics. It's not being set there. It's not being set inside the function to 0 at any point. Here, I did change some code. I just want to make sure it's still working. Yeah, this is bizarre. I must be blind. That's the only thing I can figure here at this point. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, did I break something? Oh, built just fine. Scroll, that's fine. Was non-void function. So the only thing I changed was this. Was this if statement, which just goes off every frame anyways because it's true all the time. Bizarre. I wonder if my skunk board just didn't initialize correctly or something. Give it another try. Okay. Let's try getting rid of this. I don't know. Yeah, it's just always set to 1, so we technically don't need that. I'm wondering if we have a weird bug going on and that bug happens to make everything work. Oh no, it worked fine. It just didn't initialize correctly that time. That was weird. Okay. Yeah, so everything's working here. I just don't know how. Oh man. I'm not just... Yeah, there's nothing going on there. This is never set to 0. Sorry, I take that back. It's set to 0 once, but that's only when it inits, which is only happens once. The initialization only happens once when the program is loaded. It is never done again. Even when the program loops, it's never done again. Which wouldn't even matter anyways, because this has to be set every time we want to fall down. And so it has to be being set in the main loop somewhere. But it isn't. Not in this while loop. It's not happening that I can find. Unless there's a pointer I'm changing somewhere. And I don't even know where it would be. It would be like right here. If it were happening. That's it. This is it. There's no other code going on right here. That is all the movement code in the main loop. Bricks. These are all bricks. Brick, 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 brick. Credits, bounces, floor set to 180 there. Yeah, this shouldn't be working from what I can see. Let's look at this again. See if I'm just not seeing something. Delay. Am I doing some sort of clever... Or I'm rolling over a variable, it's overflowing and changing it back to 0 or something? Like I didn't even know stuff like that existed back then. So I doubt I'm doing anything like that. Oh my goodness. Controller delay. What do I need this controller delay for? Don't even think I need this. Bounces. Equals 0. Yeah, I don't even think I need this controller delay either. Let's get rid of that. Don't need any of this. This will hopefully clear things up a bit. Doing a little bit of cleanup here. Let's make sure everything's still working. See, every change I make, because I can't wrap my head around how this is even working, I have to test that change. That's working fine. Didn't need any of that. See, I'm wondering if I even need this, do I even need this fly up? Let's try wiping that out. Hey, at least we're doing something. I'm curious to pass this on to Bryce and have him take a look at it because I am dumbfounded. Yeah, right now it's magic. Okay, so that's important. Just going through everything now. So this makes it bounce up, which makes sense, right? Right here, we're changing this up or down to 1, so it runs this code to bounce us up, which makes perfect sense to me. That makes sense. And this sets controller lock back to 1. Let's see here. Sets it back to 1 so this doesn't... Okay. So this is a toggle for the bounce. So when it bounces, it just toggles it so it actually goes up. Up and down. And it doesn't actually do any movement until the next frame. Well, it does movement here. It's falling down. Doesn't do this because we haven't swapped yet. Hits this, swaps the up or down, so that on the next round, controller lock equals 0. Yeah, that's fine. Then we come back to it. We don't do this one because up and down. We do this one until it's some arbitrary point. Let's see. Oh, this is what's giving our curve. Pretty sure. This begin, because this is a number that we're tracking. Gives us our nice ease in, ease out on the arc. Oh, wait a second. I think I figured this out. I think this is only ran once at the very beginning. So this is the drop, the first drop. And it never goes back to this again. It's doing everything here from now on, because what happens is the math it's doing here to calculate the motion. It's doing a negative, hits the top of that curve, and then it goes positive and drops down again. And then when we go below the floor value, it switches control back to 1. Because it's being set to 0 otherwise. And when it does that, it skips this, then it hits this, sets controller lock back to 1, goes around, comes back on the next loop, hits here. It's still calculating this, so it's still going down a frame. I think that's what's going on here. Let's see here, move. It has to be what's going on. This is only ran once. I think I already tried this. Did I comment out this code and test it? Because nothing should fall. in this situation. Should just stay up at the top. Yeah. Now I'm curious if we set the initialization to 1 here, if it will fall. That may not actually work. We'll see. Yep, look at that. It worked. Huh. So, I think I figured it out. That was only being used for the initial drop. So I can get rid of this because you can just set that to 1 and it just runs. In fact, I don't even need this, this if statement, I'm pretty sure. All we need is we just need to check for when it bounces. So when it hits the floor, we need it to hit this again to reset this delay to whatever the height is. That's all we need. So this is the actual bounce motion. Oh, suddenly feel a lot better now. Now that I understood what was going on. Ugh. So let's make sure this works. I'm pretty sure we don't even need that if statement. This move up and down is actually completely arbitrary. We don't need it. Yep, it's working just fine. So yeah, we can get rid of this. Yeah, get rid of all that, and we can go in here, get rid of move up or down here, do a search again, just make sure we get rid of every instance of that. We don't need you. Man, that was a pain in the butt. I think I got everything. Yeah, I got everything. Okay, so we've simplified that quite a bit. I kind of want to change all the terminology here so it's a little bit easier to read. Controller lock. Okay. I still don't completely understand the math going on here. Why that's working. It's something that's it's obviously calculating an ease in, ease out. I understand that. What's our height? Height is 36. How high the ball rises after a bounce. So our height, I think this determines the height of the bounce. That might be, yeah, the height of the bounce. Because if we set this, let's do half that, 18, it'll be a much shorter bounce. What I don't understand is where, oh, it should be just comparing to that somewhere, right? So we set delay to height. Oh no, there's a duration. That probably determines. Yeah, that gives us a really short bounce. 36, so we have this duration. Let's set the duration to 2. It's cutting that value in half. Okay, that makes sense. So our delay is set to 36 and then it's being divided by the duration. And so it cuts it down over and over and over again until let's see here. So if it's 36 and we divide it by 2, that gives us 18. So begin. So it's 18 plus the current position of y, or in this case, negative. How does it flop eventually? Oh, this right here, our delay -1. That's what eventually flips it around, is because this actually ends up being, how does it end up being? Oh, it makes this delay a negative, and then this actually it's like timesing it by -1, so it becomes a positive. So that's what does the turnaround. So it hits the top, turns around, and then starts going in the positive again. That makes sense. Okay, this kind of makes sense to me now. Cool. This is a lot simpler than I thought it would be. Gosh, do we even need this controller lock? Yeah, just... So if the delay is, let's say the delay is 0, that hits the top. And then if it's -1 divided by 4, it's still 0, right? So we'll get to -4 eventually, then it gets divided by 4, which gives us a -1, which is a +1, and that's how it starts moving down. That makes sense. Okay. Finally wrapped my head around the math. Got it. This controller lock, I'm wondering if we might be able to simplify some of this anyways, because in the main loop, we're actually controlling when it does that bounce with this controller variable that gets passed through. So I actually don't think we need any of that, because it's all being reset outside the function. So I'm pretty sure. Let's get rid of it, because yeah, I don't even think we need that. See what happens. Maybe nothing will happen. Yeah, it works just fine. Didn't need that either. Yeah, that was all. I had copied over the bounce code for Flappy McFur and brought it over here, and I didn't clean it up. I didn't polish it. And so glad we got that figured out, because this is a lot simpler. So what's happening now, so when it does the bounce, so if it goes greater than the floor and we still have some more bounces in the sprite, so it has to bounce a few more times, we set it to 1. Okay, this makes sense now, and it's still greater than, we haven't moved it yet, and so it goes into this function. We've set the controller to 1. That makes sense. And then we've swapped, or we've set the delay to the height. Gosh, I really do need to change the terminology here, because I think that's what's really confusing me here. Used to control the rise and fall of the object. That's not very verbose. It's unhelpful. Yeah. So it resets the delay, which would be a 31. So it sets it to 36, minus it 35. 35 divided by 4 is 8. Or sorry, sorry, my brain should be awake, but it isn't. 4. Yeah, it's 9 technically. So 9, but it's a negative here. It's turned into a negative, so we can now go up. And we add that negative number to the current Y position, bumps it up 9 pixels, and that puts us actually, should this be working? Because we have an issue here. I'm pretty sure. Oh, wait. Yeah, it spins a couple frames below the floor. That's what's going on here. So what I need to do is actually just move this up to here. That should fix that. This will just keep it from spending more than one frame below the floor, whatever our floor value. Oh, that's probably why I'm shifting it by a few pixels. Still don't understand that. Yeah, so that's gonna still work. What I don't understand still is the floor. So we hit we hit 8 bounces, right? And adjust the position of the floor to 200, which is below the viewable, well, it isn't below the viewable screen, but you'd think it'd be a lot bigger than this. That's why I'm a little confused. Because what I was thinking, so we have the floor, it's bouncing there at the floor at the bottom of the screen right now. What I was thinking is that we were just dropping the floor value way down below so it just continues to fall. And then we reset everything once it passes a certain Y value. But we're not doing that. We're dropping it 20 pixels. And I don't understand why that keeps it from bouncing up again. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. Let's see here. Greater than or equal to floor and bounce. Ah, that's the key. Is this bounce, is this less than 8? In fact, I don't even think we need this. Because it's not going to cause a bounce if bounces is equal to 8. Oh, wait, no, because it's less than or equal. So what if we do just less than 8? This should still work, I'm pretty sure, unless I'm missing something. I might be missing something. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Drop. 1. Yeah, so we didn't even need that. So we can actually get rid of all these floor instances, I'm pretty sure. There's just a few places where that's set. So it's set down here. Where are you? Don't need it here. All we need to do is set bounces back to 0. That don't need you. Oh, we do need to, that is the initial. Yeah, we don't need any of that. So we're fine on that. That's been simplified a little bit. Credits, we're fine on this. This is just checking which sprite to attach and detach from the display. It's running surprisingly fast. Let me watch it here for a second. You'd see a hiccup with those blocks. Well, it seems to be smooth. It's doing that quick. Really quick. Cool. Well, we spent way too much time on that. That boggled my mind for way too long. And I do need to stop the stream here in a few minutes. We did start, I think I did start a few minutes early, didn't I? Just like 3 or 4 minutes or something. But yeah, I think we're set now. Gosh, what a mess. This doesn't need to be down here. This can be up here. In fact, we're going to put it right next to that because they kind of relate to each other. Yeah. All this is for is to trigger that bounce. That's all this is for. So trigger bounce. I'm going to change that. Trigger bounce. fact, I think I can just simplify this into an else statement. Like that. See if that still works. Sorry for all the yawning. I felt like I slept really good last night. Yeah, so that's gonna work just fine. Let's make sure it works. Takes us to the next credit. Yeah, we're good. So that's simplified. Let's see here. Ball motion delay. Yeah, that's fine. Just setting the bounce. This feels a little weird to me why we're doing it at 1. Because I think I'm pretty sure we get down to I'm not too sure why we're doing that, to tell you the truth. It's fine, it's working. I'm not gonna mess with that. Is greater than or equal to 350, that's fine. Bounces, delay is 0. Yeah, that's fine. This is important because this is what makes it fall down again. Right? Yes. Because it sets it to 0. And then when we come in here, we minus the delay, so it's -1, but then we're setting it back to a positive here. There's probably a better way to write this, but it does make sense now. It does work. It's just a little tricky if you're not familiar with it, because it feels a little bit backwards. Credits. Yeah, that's it. That is a lot. It's definitely easier to read now. It's a little bit easier to parse. You know, something that might help it to be a little more readable is, see, and I kind of want to, well, this is important that we do this here. Yeah. I basically did this bounce without abstracting the vector. That's what happened here. And so I'm using this times by -1 right here. In fact, that's what I was going to do. I was going to just make this more readable. So -1 times. That's what I'm doing right there. This is our vector, and how we set delay determines the vector essentially. That's so by setting it to 0, we're telling it to fall down, and then when we set the delay to a positive value, so like 36, right? That's when we that's when we force it to go up. So yeah, strange. It's a strange way to do it, but it does make sense. If I were to rewrite this, I almost don't want to rewrite it now because of how insane backwards this is. And it works. I almost want to keep it as, you know, kind of like a little memento of past will. I want that it was a miracle that past me even figured this out. They got this working. This is nuts. Because yeah, what I would do is I just abstract the vector, and I just, when it hits a certain point, the floor in this case, just flip the vector and have it go up. And that's what I was planning on doing with creating a lookup table. So basically what I would do is I'd flip that vector so it bounces up, right? And it's at a certain point in the lookup table, and then it doesn't start going through the lookup table for how far it should travel until it reaches a certain point, and that's what creates that arc movement. So it goes through an array of values, so like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which slows it down, and then it reverses that lookup in the table, so it goes down, and then it hits a certain value where it's just falling as fast as it's going to fall, then goes down, and yeah, I just flip the vector up there. Oh wait, would I even need? Yeah, I just flip the vector. Yeah, that's how I do it. If that made any sense, yeah. Yeah, don't you understand? That's how I do it. But yeah, that's how it'd be a lot simpler to do it that way, where I just have a lookup table that says, okay, when you're falling at full speed, you're going 9 pixels, and then that lookup table would just be 9876543210, and that 0 is the top of the arc where it slows down up at the top, and then I'd flip the vector so it just goes back down through, and then I'd flip a vector in the lookup table as well. There'd be a vector going read the table this way, and then a vector that says read the table that way, and then it would just hit the end of the table at either side, depending on whether you're going up or down. Maybe that's more confusing. I don't know. In my head, that seems a lot simpler to do. But this is amazing that I even figured this out. So I'm going to keep it. And it's a lot easier to wrap my head around now. I kind of want to go through and see if I can rename some things here. Let's see here. Begin. Move begin. This almost needs to be offset. Duration. See, I probably got these terms from when I was learning how to do ease in, how to calculate ease in and ease out. I think these are the words that they use, and they're really confusing. But I don't know what I would change them to, so I'm gonna leave it as it is right now. Is that really where the tabs are? I guess so. Alright, I'm just cleaning this up a bit. These need semicolons after them as well. Let's see here. Motion init. We're not returning anything, so this can be a void function. Just a little cleanup here. Void. Void. Yeah, okay. So we're good there. I don't know why I have the removers. Oh, this is just a copyright thing, because I probably made the source code available in the. This is up on the old version of this is up on poet.net, and I probably have the source code for the original version up there as well, which is really embarrassing now that I think about it. Oh my goodness. That was silly how long that took. I apologize for that. Maybe it was really entertaining. Maybe I shouldn't apologize. Yeah, everything's working just fine. Something I would like to do is actually make that bounce a little less pronounced so it doesn't go into the overscan. Because on a CRT this isn't going to look very good. So let's do this. Let's raise our floor first. And that is just right here. We're going to do 160 maybe. See what that looks like. $160. That may be a little too high. Check it out here. Oh, it's not bad actually. Kind of like that. Now it's going way up beyond the top. And the way we change that is we adjust this value to like 32 or something. That may actually be a little too much. I don't know. We'll find out. We will find out. Oh no, that's that will probably look good. I don't, just a little bit more. Let's do 31. See what that looks like. There we go. That feels better. I'll have to test that on an actual CRT after the stream, but the bounce isn't quite as impressive, but it's going to be within the viewable space on a CRT, which should feel nice on a CRT. And we still have our nice ease in, ease out motion there up at the top. Feels like a bounce. So, anyways, there's that. One more thing before we end the stream. I'm just going to go back and set this up. Make sure our loop, the whole program loops appropriately. Just need to set this back to 0, I believe. That should run the demo as it should from the first card, first state. Got scrolling buildings. You'll notice that the music changes. Yeah, if you guys can even hear the music, you probably can't hear it too well right now. The music's pretty slow here. You'll notice it'll go back to normal here. After it unloads everything from the intro card. So, anyways. It's because those ribbons are just, there's something, what I don't understand is once they're not moving anymore, the song should be playing normally. So I actually don't understand why the song is slowing down there. That's why I'm still kind of poking at it to see if I can optimize it a little bit better. I think there's just something I'm missing. There's something I need to load or unload properly. It doesn't make sense once it stops scrolling why it's slowing down the music so much. It doesn't make sense to me because that's all running on the DSP. The music's all running on the DSP independent of graphics. Like, it should be running just fine. I assume it's a bus issue, so there's a lot being loaded on the bus, but I'm not loading or unloading anything there, and it's not having to redraw anything. It's just there. At least I'm pretty sure. I wonder if there's a way I can release it from the bus once it stops moving or something. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go take a look, spend a little more time with that. Anyways, I think that's it. Let me go to the big cam. Yeah, sorry. Oh, you guys are staring at my grill there. The dusty grill on my monitor. I have a Cintiq and it has a fan inside of it because this thing gets so bright and it has to run a fan to keep it cool, basically. And so there's dust right there. Anyways, yeah, thanks for watching, Matt Smith and Bryce, if you're still there, and anybody else who was on the chat. Or not in the chat. Thanks for watching. This was a very interesting, what I feel is a very slow stream because I just got stumped by my past self. Good job, past self. You did a great job of stumping future self. But we figured out, we cleaned up the code. Looks a lot nicer now. And there is a better way of doing that bounce. There is. The way my past self did it, it really, I feel, is a little bit of a miracle that I even got it to work. I was probably just changing variables, adding things in until it worked, and it worked. But it was cool to go through there and remove a lot of it. Got it working really well. Anyways, that's it for today. Next week, we are going back to playing games, and I have no idea what I'm going to play. Maybe we'll just do some Baldies, because that's my filler game right now. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want to see another game, another specific game. Oh, look at that. See, there's that black screen on the loop. What's weird about this black screen is I'm pretty sure everything's running because the music slows down. As if it's loading those ribbons again in the background. So I'm not sure why it's a black screen. It's almost like the palette isn't fading up for some reason. Oh, I just figured it out. I'm gonna go change it right now. I know why. Pretty sure I know why. So we have a variable called fade steps. Let me find it right here. And that, I'm pretty sure, is... No, it is being reset. Never mind. We're resetting our current colors and final colors. Yeah, never mind. I don't know what's wrong. I gotta spend some more time with that to figure out why it's not. Because the rest of the demo works just fine, so I'm pretty sure it's not a bug, like a bug or a crash issue. It has something to do with the palette. It's just not fading up for some reason. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, sorry. That's gonna kind of suck when I add chapters to this video. I hate jumping between things just because of adding chapters. But anyways, yeah, so next week we're going to be playing some games. Tuesday and Wednesday, again, if you're new here. It's Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, at least my time. Morning in the States. Probably evening everywhere else. Or close to the evening everywhere else around the world. But yeah, we'll play... my default is Baldi's, so we may do a few more levels with that. Those are kind of slow streams. Definitely the type of streams that if you guys want to chat about something, we can do that. Maybe I'll come up with some fun topics we can talk about. Maybe I'll do some research on Baldi's and figure out who worked on that and see if there's anything interesting there, and we'll talk about that. But otherwise, there are some more Atari ST ports that I would like to play on stream, simply because I don't think anybody's ever streamed them, so it'd be nice to stream some of those games just so they have a little bit of content on YouTube. I know Reboot has pre-recorded some of those games, but really just to show that it's working, not an actual like, oh, this is a game, is it good or not, is it fun to play, how is it different than the ST version, and does it run faster, that kind of stuff. So so there's definitely that. There's also some... I need to come up with some terms with this. So there's official releases, and then you have unofficial... oh gosh, yeah, I need a term for this. There probably is a term for this. There was an era with Jag games, and Songbird is responsible for a lot of this, but there's a few other games like Battlesphere, where they were games that were in production but aren't officially licensed. And so I kind of consider those their own era of games, and there's the potential for more of those games to come out if stuff gets found. I know an example of this is Bomberman. There was somebody working on Bomberman back in the 90s, and did have a license from Hudson Soft to release that, and the code has been found this last decade, and they've just been sitting on it. I think they've done a little bit of work. They've gotten things to build. It's obviously not a finished game, but there is the potential that can be polished off and finished, and I would consider that part of that era of games of there was some licensing, there was some officialdom to those games, but because they weren't released or were released after the lifetime of the Jag, they kind of occupy a weird slot in terms of what type of release it is, because it isn't homebrew technically. It has some it has a gold star for being associated with Atari. I guess I need to come up with a term for that. Anyways, there's games in that era, that group of Jag games that I would like to play. 05 is one of those. What's another one? There's another one. Breakout 2000 is another one I haven't streamed yet, and so there's a few there. I need to go take a look at them. Anyways, that's what we'll be doing next week. If you want to see a specific game, let me know. I wouldn't mind pulling something out if somebody just wants to experience the game again. There's always the go-tos like Tempest 2000 and Iron Soldier. I know everybody gets excited about those because they're good games. I would consider Tempest 2000 a great game, a very unique and great game that you can't find that exact experience on any other console. And yes, I know there's ports of the game, but they aren't the same. Like, I've played the Saturn version, I've played the PC version. Were there any more? I think there's the PlayStation version, which is Tempest X, I think. And that's I honestly think that's probably the closest to Tempest 2000 is the PlayStation game, but the Jaguar version is special, very very unique, and I would consider it one of the greats. It is one of the greats. Anyways, yeah, let me know if you have any suggestions for games. Otherwise, have a great week. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.